If you've been following Formula One for a while, you've probably asked yourself, who was the last guy to bring Ferrari a world title? Well, my friend, it's not one of those media darlings with the perfect interviews and polished smiles. It was actually the complete opposite. A guy who seemed to hate the spotlight as much as he loved going flat out on track. That guy was Kimi Räikkönen, or, as the world came to know him, the Iceman. Today, we're diving into the story of one of the most fascinating characters Formula One has ever seen. Not because of what he said, let's be real, he barely said anything, but because of what he did on the track. Get ready, because this story runs way deeper than just the meme. Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. First, let's get one thing straight. It wasn't always obvious that Kimi even deserved a seat in Formula One. When he first popped up on the radar back in the late 90s, a lot of people were skeptical. He didn't come in with a resume stacked full of wins from Formula 3 or Formula 3000. None of that. The guy had, and I'm not kidding, just 23 single-seater races under his belt. That's right, 23. But honestly, you didn't need a stat sheet. All it took was 5 minutes watching him drive to realize that this Finnish kid was built different. Kimi first turned heads racing in Formula Renault in the UK, and not just anyone's attention. Some serious players started noticing. Within months, his win record was making seasoned veterans look bad. Peter Sauber, owner of the Sauber F1 team, kept a close watch. He brought Kimi in for a test at Mugello, and well, the rest is history. They even tried hiding his real name from the timing sheets, just to keep other teams from sniffing around. Didn't work. Even Schumacher, yeah, that Schumacher, showed up asking, "Who's this flying Eskimo?" When Ferrari starts asking about you, you know you've got something special. Then came the F1 debut, and of course, it was anything but typical. Super license? Only after a 3-month probation period. The FIA had never granted something like that before. It was a gamble, a trial by fire, and Kimi, he slept like a baby the night before his first race. While the whole world wondered if he could handle the pressure, all he cared about was racing. The result? P6 on debut, points in the bag, and a loud, clear message to everyone, don't underestimate the Iceman. After that rookie year with Sauber, it didn't take long. He got the call from McLaren, replacing none other than Mika Häkkinen, a 2-time world champion and, oh yeah, also Finnish. If McLaren wanted to keep that cold-blooded, lightning-fast legacy alive, they had found their guy. Kimi wasn't just fast, he was like a machine. No big celebrations, no radio meltdowns, no drama, just pure performance. Of course, his early days at McLaren had their ups and downs, tons of DNFs, more the car's fault than his. But when the car did hold together, man, Kimi showed everyone what he was made of. Take 2003, for example. It was unreal. He went head-to-head with Schumacher right up to the final race. 2 tiny points separated Kimi from the championship. 1 mistake here, 1 mechanical failure there, and that golden trophy ended up in the wrong hands. Then came 2005, a whole different chapter. A season where McLaren probably had the fastest car on the grid, but also the most fragile one. Still, Kimi pulled off some legendary wins, including that race in Suzuka, where he started from P17 and passed Fisichella on the final lap to take the win. Straight out of a movie. And what did he say on the radio afterward? Nothing. Complete silence. Because for Kimi, being brilliant was just another day at the office. And here's the thing a lot of people don't really get about Kimi. It wasn't arrogance, it wasn't disdain, it was just Kimi being Kimi. He never wanted to be anything else. He never chased the cameras, never cared about being the fan favorite. He was there for what happened between the lights going out and the checkered flag. Nothing more. Then came 2007, and the opportunity that seemed almost too good to be true, replacing Schumacher at Ferrari. Imagine the weight of that task, stepping into the seat of the greatest champion ever, carrying the full weight of Maranello's expectations on your back, and doing it at a time when McLaren, with Alonso and Hamilton, looked absolutely unbeatable. Most drivers would have cracked under that pressure, but not Kimi Räikkönen. That season was a roller coaster. McLaren seemed to have everything under control. Hamilton was leading the championship. Alonso was right there, biting at his heels. And Kimi, he looked like the underdog, a third-place outsider who needed a miracle. And then, out of nowhere, came the kind of finish only a true Iceman could pull off. 3 wins in the last 4 races. A flawless drive at Interlagos. And somehow, flipping the championship upside down to become world champion by a single point. 1 single point. And if you remember that 2007 Brazilian Grand Prix, you know it wasn't just luck. It was a perfect storm of chaos. Hamilton making mistakes, mechanical issues, Ferrari nailing the strategy, and Kimi, unshakable, doing what he did best, driving fast and keeping quiet. And when he crossed the finish line, no wild celebrations, just a small, quiet smile. A champion who looked more relieved than ecstatic. Now, after reaching the very top in 2007, what would you expect? A dominant Kimi, stacking up titles, starting a new era of Ferrari supremacy. controversy. But that's not what happened. What came next was a Kimi who seemed more distant, more detached from the political games of Formula One, and, more than anything, less interested in playing along with the system. 2008 actually started strong, some good wins. But as the season wore on, it became clear. That burning hunger, that relentless fire, wasn't the same anymore. Not because the talent wasn't there, it always was, but because once he had achieved the dream, everything else just didn't seem to matter as much. Formula One, with all its politics, marketing obligations, sponsor schmoozing, it was never Kimi's natural environment. While others shaped themselves to fit what F1 wanted them to be, Kimi let the car do the talking. And that old school style, it comes with a cost. Eventually, Ferrari realized they needed someone different, someone more political, someone like Fernando Alonso. And so 2009 came. A rough year for Ferrari and an even rougher one for Kimi. A weak car, a few decent results, but mostly frustration. And then the hard decision. Ferrari decided to part ways with Raikkonen. They bet everything on Alonso. And Kimi, true to himself, took the news with the same ice-cold calm he was famous for. Best part? He walked away with a fat check from Ferrari, and instead of jumping straight into another F1 seat, he decided to go have fun. Tried rallying, tried NASCAR, because of course, Kimi being Kimi. But what nobody really expected was what came next. In 2012, after 2 years away from Formula One, Kimi came back. And he didn't just come back, he came back in the most ridiculous way possible. Driving for Lotus, a team far from the top, with limited resources. And still, the guy shined. It was an incredible season, crowned by a flawless win at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and the radio message that would become one of the most iconic lines in F1 history. Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, Kimi, we need to keep working all 4 tyres, please. Keep working all 4
yes,
tyres.
Yes, I'm doing all the time, so you don't have to remind every second.
Okay.
That phrase became the ultimate symbol of who Kimi was. He didn't want to be praised. He didn't want to be handheld like a rookie. He just wanted to do what he'd always done best, race. And man, could he race. His comeback proved that raw talent never fades. It also showed that even with F1 evolving into this hyper-polished media circus, there was still room for a driver who wasn't a brand, wasn't a marketing product, just a pure competitor. In 2013, still with Lotus, Kimi kept delivering solid results. But things behind the scenes got ugly. Financial problems, delayed salaries, and guess what? Kimi raced through half the season without getting paid a cent. And if you asked him, he didn't care. He just wanted to race. At the end of that year, Ferrari came knocking again. And in 2014, Kimi returned to Maranello, now alongside none other than Fernando Alonso. But Ferrari wasn't the same powerhouse anymore, and neither was Kimi. He was still quick, still sharp, but that youthful fire wasn't quite the same. And the cars, well, year after year, they kept falling further behind Red Bull and Mercedes. What kept Kimi alive in the paddock were flashes of brilliance, stunning qualifying laps, unbelievable recovery drives. But time catches up with everyone. Still, through all the ups and downs, Kimi kept going. And in 2018, he had one final brilliant moment, winning the United States Grand Prix in Austin. After more than 5 years without a victory, the Iceman showed he still had fire in his veins. Even as a veteran, he was still teaching the younger guys a lesson. After that came the final chapter at Alfa Romeo, a kind of poetic return to his roots, back to the old Sauber team. And he ended his career the same way he started. No drama, no fuss, just pure racing. And here's something I think defines Kimi better than anything. While so many others got lost trying to fit in, trying to be loved, trying to please everyone, Kimi stayed true to himself. Always. He never begged for applause, never tried to justify anything, he just drove. Sometimes he won, sometimes he didn't, but he was always authentic. Kimi Raikkonen wasn't the most marketable driver. He wasn't the most political, but he was, without a doubt, one of the most genuine to ever race in Formula One. And maybe that's why, even after all these years, after so many champions have come and gone, the respect and admiration for him never faded. Because at the end of the day, titles come and go, records get broken, but authenticity, that lasts. And the Iceman, with his unique way of being, showed everyone that sometimes the greatest achievement in racing isn't winning the most trophies. It's earning the respect of everyone, without ever pretending to be something you're not. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Kimi moment? His brilliant debut, that unforgettable win at Interlagos, or the legendary Leave Me Alone? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of Ferrari's last world champion, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Here, we always remember the greats the way they deserve. And hey, if you want to check out some awesome F1 products I picked out, the link's down in the description. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.